Good morning, everyone. Martha Ermias here, coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio. I had started this video a little bit earlier, but something was not right, so I had to restart it again. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the live show, and thank you for joining me. Today's Wednesday, October the 10th, and I hope that you're having a great start of your day. And for those who don't know me, my name is Martha Ermias. I'm an entrepreneur. I love to talk about entrepreneurship, personal growth, and contribution, as I believe that those three things help us live a life of fulfillment. And I want to say thank you for all of my Facebook viewers for allowing me to reach 100,000 views on one of my videos. I just want to say thank you so much. For those of you who ever shared my video, commented, interacted, or liked or loved my video, you guys have helped me reach that 100,000 views. So I just want to say thank you for that. Good morning, everyone. Miki, good morning. Good morning, Jerry. Good to see you. Abel, good to see you. Good to see you guys here. Burhane, Gomed, thank you guys for being here. Medeper, all right. Tesfai, Burhin. Good to see you guys here. So today I'm going to be talking about some tips on how to keep your positive attitude regardless of what happens in your life. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So if anything that I say inspires you today, please go ahead and share it. And if you feel like this might help someone, please share it right now so that we can have more viewers live as well. So yeah, so today what I want to talk about is how do you keep your attitude positive in order for you to be able to be successful regardless of what's happening in your life. But first, let's talk about what the benefit of having a positive attitude is. People with a positive attitude actually become more successful than those who do not have a positive attitude, because first of all, when your attitude is positive, you'll have more peace in your life. You will also feel better. You'll always be feeling good, and your creativity will increase, and all of those are important for you to lead a successful life. When we feel good, we do well. When we feel good, we're very creative. So if we don't have a positive attitude, then although our emotions are going to be affected, so we're not productive in our day, and it's going to be really hard for us to achieve our goals in a positive way. So when we don't have positive attitude, we actually become partners in the destruction of our own path. So it's very important that we stay positive, but it's easier said than done, because our emotions are affected when things happen in our lives. There's going to be a lot of things that come in our life that make us angry, that make us sad, that make us disappointed. All those feelings can sometimes take over, and they can affect our attitude towards life. Especially sometimes we go through stuff. We actually go through trials and tribulations, and it's like one thing after another, and it seems like our life is filled with difficulties. And to keep and maintain a positive attitude at that time seems like it's asking too much of us, and sometimes we feel like we deserve to feel sad and to really be in a self-pity kind of mood and be upset because of all the stuff that's happening to us. But the only way to actually continue to have a positive life is if you have a positive attitude. So the 5 tips that I will be talking about today hopefully will help you form a positive attitude in your life. So the first one is really, what you really want to do is you want to start with evaluating your current attitude. And this is the hardest step to do, because the hardest thing to do is really look into the man in the mirror, look at ourselves, and admit the things that are not very pleasant. If we don't have a very good attitude, sometimes it's very difficult to really see it. We want to really see what's causing those feelings and attitudes in us, and blame everything outside of us, and we really don't want to own up to the negative attitude that we may have. So it's not an easy thing to do, but it's the beginning and the first step that we all have to do. So we really have to really look at 3 things. Number 1, our feelings. Number 2, our behaviors. And number 3, our thinking. So as far as feelings goes, you really want to see what kind of feelings really are causing a negative attitude towards you. Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it disappointment? What is the feeling that you are right, engaging in, that's really affecting your attitude. You really want to take a look at that. And as far as your behavior, what behaviors, what actions that you take is creating conflict with other people? What is the thing that you do that actually creates conflict with other people? And then also your thinking, your thought process, what thoughts really control your mind? You want to take a look at that. So that's the beginning. You really want to see where you're at in order for you to go to a better place with your attitude. So the second thing you want to do is you want to start writing a statement of purpose that defeats or overcomes those negative feelings, negative thoughts, and negative behaviors. So you want to start writing down your purpose, how you're going to change that. When you write it down and commit yourself, you're already making a decision to actually change that, and that will help you move forward with the first steps to do it. So for example, if you're if you're impatient with other people, you want to whenever they're speaking and they're expressing their thoughts and you're just not accepting them and you're impatient, or you just are impatient the way they do things, that's the kind of thing that bothers you and it's affecting your attitude, it creates a feeling of being irritated and angry, then what you want to do is you write a statement of purpose saying that I'm going to listen to what other people say. I'm going to be patient as they talk. I'll try to see things from their perspective. You make a decision and you write a statement, and that's the first step that will lead you into creating a positive attitude. For example, if you find yourself complaining about a lot of things, then you want to say, okay, I'm going to smile and I'm going to speak words that are really edifying, like something that's really positive, instead of complaining. Or if I can't do that, I'm just going to be quiet. So basically you're making decision on what you will be doing when the trigger comes for you to have that negative attitude. So that's the second step. Third step, you want to find new words. Our words affect our life. The way we speak is actually a reflection of how we see life and what kind of life we're actually creating around us. And a lot of times we don't really pay attention to that, and we have a lot of habits of the things that we say that actually shape our life, shape our day, and affect our attitude. So we have to be very conscious of the things that we say, very conscious of what we say. A lot of times, especially when we speak about ourselves and when we express the things that we feel, we become extremely negative. And one way that's really you can overcome this is by speaking to yourself as if you're speaking to someone that you really love and respect. As if you're for example, if sometimes when you make a mistake, you say I made a stupid mistake. That word stupid, would you say that if it is to someone that you love and respect? How would you express it if you're talking to someone that you love and respect? Instead of using negative words like that, you would be expressing it very differently, still sending the message that was a mistake that person shouldn't have made, but you wouldn't express it in such a negative way. So when it's like we're talking to ourselves or thinking thoughts in ourselves, we abuse ourselves. We say things that are very, very negative, and that will not help you create a positive attitude. So you've got to be very gentle and gracious to yourself as you're talking to yourself, and that's very, very important. And also other thoughts, like for example, I'll give you some examples that can create a negative attitude in you if you use those words. For example, using the word I can't, using the word I doubt that this will happen, I don't think, I don't have time, I am afraid, I don't believe. All these are negative ways of expressing that will create a negative attitude inside of you. Self-doubt will create a dark attitude towards you. Instead, you can say, I can, I will make the time, I know, I expect the best, I am confident, I believe. When you use these kinds of words in your speech, you're also creating a positive attitude towards you. So whenever you're tempted to express something in a negative statement or negative word, catch yourself and start to change your language, and that will eventually start to change your attitude. So if you keep saying the wrong things, it's very hard to create the right attitude. So very, very important on this one. And number 4, you want to rewire your thought pattern. Your thought pattern. The funny thing is our feelings actually are originated or created from our thoughts. What we think and what we feel, our head, like the thought process that we have, that will create a feeling. So if somebody's feeling anxious, or if they're feeling afraid, or if they're lacking confidence or peace, or if they're feeling angry or sad, then it's the best thing to do is really go back in what you've been thinking. What was your outlook to the situation that happened? What were you thinking? You were already like thinking of it in a certain way, and it created those feelings inside of you. So whenever you have feelings that are not favorable, or you really don't like to have those feelings and you want to avoid them, you don't just change them by saying, I'm not going to feel that way. Because feeling is a reaction. It's a reaction. It's something that comes, it's a reaction from your body that you can't stop it. But the way to stop the way you feel is really to change the way you think. You have to change the way you think. For every single situation, if you keep thinking and meditating in a very negative way, if you just keep going in a very negative spiral and you keep thinking of it that way, you really can't control the feeling, the bad feelings or the negative feelings that you feel about that situation. So the one thing you can control is your thought. What you can change is your thought process, and that will eventually change your feelings, the way you feel about that situation. So very, very important that we change our thought process. It's our thoughts and not our circumstances that determine our happiness. A lot of times people think that, I'll feel happy. This is the problem I have. As soon as I solve that problem, I will feel happy. Okay? But it's really not that. You will be happy for a moment when that problem is solved, but you can't continue to be happy on a daily basis, because the daily basis happiness comes from how you look at the situation and how you think, not really necessarily what's going on in your life. So very important that we want to really fill our mind with positive thoughts, or the outlook that whenever we're looking at something, we have to make sure that we're not looking at it from a very negative perspective. We have to have positive thoughts towards it. Even solving a problem, you've got to look at it in a positive way, and that's when your feelings will be filled with happiness and you'll be joyful. So it's not really what happens to you, it's really how you think of it that affects how you feel and your attitude. Number 5, and this is going to be the last one, is really develop good habits. Okay, it's very, very important that, human beings, we're driven with habits, and we have good habits and we have bad habits. And you want to develop more good habits and really overcome bad habits that you have. But the one thing that nobody can do is when you say, I'm going to stop, like when it's a bad habit, if it's a habit, it's been with you for a very long time. So you do it unconsciously a lot of times. So willpower by itself is not going to help you change a bad habit. Okay, like if you say, for example, let me think of an example. What's a bad habit that you want to stop? Let's say you sleep through until 10 a.m. and you don't want to do that. And let's say that that's a habit that you have, but you want to wake up like 5 a.m. Let's say like 7 a.m. and you want to do like from 7 to 7:30 or until 8:30. There's some things that you want to do. That's a habit you want to develop, right? So by just saying, I'm not going to do this, that's not the only, like your decision and determination is not the only thing that you need. You actually have to start replacing a bad habit with a good habit. You have to replace it. What's a good habit? You wake up in the morning and you already have plans on what you really want to do in the morning that you enjoy, that you're happy, that's a positive thing that you want to do. You start doing that. I don't think that's actually a good example, but let me give you a better example. Let's say that you idly spend time watching TV, negative news and things like that, and you want to stop. But that's really how you unwind, and really after you have a very tough day at work and you come in to try to relax and watch. So that's a habit that you have. So when you stop doing that and you say, I'm not going to watch TV anymore, and you're not replacing it with a good habit, what are you going to do instead of that? If you don't make that decision ahead of time, it's going to be really hard to stop doing what you said you weren't gonna do. So the best thing to do to really develop a good habit is or replace a bad habit, is really always replace it with a good thing. Like whatever you were doing at that time, instead, this is what I'm going to do. When you make that decision, you start doing that good thing, good habit, then the bad habit will go away naturally. Always replace the bad with good if you really want to change something. So developing a good habit is also good because you will be proud of yourself. You'll feel good about yourself, and your attitude will be extremely positive when you continue to do that. So that's about what I wanted to share with you guys today, but I want to leave you with a quote that really is motivating. Whether you are 15 years old or 50 years old, your outlook toward life is always under construction. What this means is that developing a positive attitude, having a positive mindset, and having positive feelings and becoming a positive person is something that you can start doing at any given time. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's a habit that we can really start to create. It's never too late to change yourself that way. So I hope that this encourages you to have a more of positive attitude so that you can be successful in your life. And if you feel like this will bless someone, please go ahead and share it and drop a comment and let me know that you watched it on a replay if you did watch it on a replay. And the other thing that I really want to say, I know a lot of you have been asking me to do videos just in Tigrinya, more videos in Tigrinya, but I just want to say that there's actually a lot of viewers that don't understand Tigrinya, and I'm going to continue to keep the English. Even there's a lot of Eritreans that don't speak Tigrinya, so this English program is going to be for everybody, but I'll continue to do the Tigrinya program on Saturdays, but I'm working on having more days in Tigrinya, so I just appreciate you being patient with that, and thank you so much for your requests as well. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Until I see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.